It's your host with the most hoop jargon. And my guy JC, man. Gentlemen, how we feeling, man? Week 3. Let's get it.
Feeling pretty good, man. Like I said, we getting headlong into football season on all fronts. Took on a heavy slate of college football yesterday. Looking forward to these matchups today, most notably with our Dallas Cowboys. And man, it's a good time to start a winning streak. So that's what I'm on today.
All right, I like it. JC, what you got?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good over here in West Ham, as I like to call it. And I'm really excited about this game. You know, it's just interesting how, I guess it's probably a little bit different, when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls all the time. There might be an occasional game against a near-do-well type team that I could pass on, but now, man, I love them all. It's another NFL team and another chance to hopefully watch the Cowboys go out and whip some ass today, man. Really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And then as I had a long work day yesterday. I also, after the game, got to go to the USC Michigan State game. I stayed for half of it because I was just too tired to finish it up. But shout out to the USC Trojans getting the dub. It was a interesting game. One of the players got really hurt doing it. It was like a 20-minute delay, and your boy just couldn't take it no more. But listen, man, the USC's quarterback looks really good going forward. So I know they just cracked the top 25, and they are looking to keep climbing in their first year in the Big Ten. So shout out to the Trojans at USC.
Right on.
Fight on, as they say over there. Fight on. I'm a UT guy. It kind of goes against my goes against
right. And
against
the USC cheerleaders have magnificent sweater hams.
Nigga, right. So, every time I think my gas has been flabbered, JC finds another way to.
Oh man, with that,
render me speechless.
Driving us into the ditch, sir.
All right, so moving forward. That's funny. All right, so guys, we got our slump buster just like Arch Manning did San Diego State yesterday as well. Speaking of college sports, so we got week 3. We got the Bears coming down the pipeline. I got my little Caleb Williams bobblehead back there, even though I don't really care for that cat. Yeah, it's a USC one, but at any rate, so as we see the Cowboys coming in to a winless Bears team, sitting at 0-2, with us sitting at 1-1, so we have our task ahead of us. So definitely the world will be looking at this game that's coming forward. But before we do that, let's take a step back. Let's hop back into it, and let's talk about the Giants game, our slump buster. We pulled off the victory when we came out there when it was a shootout. Our predictions were all over the place. I don't think anybody could have predicted that, but we were victorious 40-37, highlighted by a 64-yard kick from Brandon Aubrey. And rest in peace to Ahmaud Aubrey. He kicked it like it was just a chip shot from 40 yards. Gentlemen, your takeaway from our slump buster dub last week against the Gigantes.
Man, I'll jump in here with this, man. So I've been thinking about that, just the game itself, obviously leading up to this one. But man, going back to that game, it was because I went back and watched the game, right, and different segments, especially fourth quarter in the OT, right, and it was a really odd game from the standpoint of how slow they started, right. Dallas, I mean, the Giants came out, Russ was, if I can, be corny, sport talk show guy, Russ Ridiculous, from the beginning.
Damn.
Right. Like
that's what that was. You just did.
Yeah, exactly. It was. But yeah, man, he was incredible, and they, guys were open all day, shout out to LSU Tigers, Malik Neighbors was just destroying Trayvon Diggs, just destroying him. And the entire Cowboys secondary, actually, which I know we'll get into throughout the show. But, man, the takeaway from the game was it kind of bled over from the Philly game in that although the defense was horrific and they got blasted as they well should through all the pundits all week. But man, I like the fortitude of sticking with it, with this thing. And, I'm a glass half full guy. So, I like to, certainly acknowledge the very glaring negatives, but, extract the positives going into the next week as the season unfolds. And man, and one of the things I'm really loving is this Javonte Williams signing. Man, that $3 million deal is looking like a huge bargain. Man, the way he's finished runs, how tough he is, how patient he is. He's got that patient, that great mix of balance and patience and burst.
Yeah,
that you love in the back, and then just on top of that, man, he's tough, man. I mean, he finished off those runs, he just loaded the boom on a few defenders, at the end of those runs, man, and it just had huge plays. I like what seems to be the emerging connection and confidence in George Pickens from Dak Prescott. Pickens was huge. QB1, I thought played another really, really solid game. It's been real interesting, and it's a little bit of a cringe watching the national pundits already, talking about Dak in the MVP conversation. I'm like, man, tap breaks. Can we at least get to, closer to Halloween to even start to have that conversation? Man, it's week 2. Dak's played really well these first 2 weeks.
The answer is no, never.
No.
Is he the greatest, or he's the shittiest quarterback that ever lived?
Yeah, man, and you're right, Cliff. You're right. It just makes me cringe, man, because that kind of feeds the beast, and it's like setting him up for the fail, for him to drag him later on, right? And that's the part that is coming that I hate. But just going from a week to week basis, man, he had a couple of throws that, and Dak will do this, when he's getting pressured, back foot, he's like, Dak, don't throw that one, and it's like that could have been picked or a tip ball, but for the most part, man, especially when they had to have it late, Doc, he was doing what your big time, huge paid, QB1 should do, and that's lead his team. I thought that shootout between he and Russ was, as unexpected as it was to look like it looked, man, but that was some damn entertaining football. And 2 quarterbacks playing at a really, really high level. I'm encouraged by that, man. I mean, I want more of it, obviously, as this schedule unfolds and these games come together. But man, if this is a glimpse of what we're going to get from QB1, that offense, that young, developing, emerging offensive line, guys, I sent you. I love that. I sent you guys in our private chat. Yeah, I'm more Dak hips. You're right. That the couple of highlights, man, of this young line that's come together. I'm worried as hell about Terrence Steele, but that's a later conversation. But these youngsters, man, they coming with it. And lastly, before I shoot it over to Joey, Brandon Aubrey, man, I'm gonna land this plane on this as far as that guy is concerned. Man, I'm at that age now where, I've obviously been watching the game a damn long time, close to 5 decades now, right? Which is crazy and blessed, but true. And so what's fun to me a lot of times in this society, especially in the sports discussions, is like what we saw 5 minutes ago was the greatest thing we've ever seen, right? Or we've never seen it before. I love hearing that, and I at times I love being, the old cat at the barbershop was like, well, no, dog, I've seen that before, right? This dude Aubrey is in that territory, dog. I mean, like I really racked my brain, and I'm talking about just going back, just all the years I've watched, man, where I've seen a guy who so easily makes kicks from distance. Joe, I know you can remember this before I jump off. Man, when you would try the guy out there for a 50-yarder, and you're like, oh God, there's no way he makes. You know what I mean? It's like the trepidation was huge on 50-yarders. Man, this dude kicks 50-yard kicks.
I'm gonna give you a name, D Brown.
Huh?
This is what we thought Sebastian Janikowski was.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point because he had
that leg
because he had that leg, but the accuracy, man, and just the demeanor. And I always like to pick up on idiosyncrasies, man. And I love the deal. They all go through routine, they line it up, but I like this deal right here. The little turn. I was like, oh, he finna nail that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
But can I ask you this? Is he going to start affecting the schoolyards now? You remember, so in my era, Dennis Rodman used to snag the ball. Everybody was snag like Rodman.
No question.
Everybody going to start doing this right here.
But it's not exaggerated. It's real smooth. He lines it up and he gets that. I love it, dog. But man, to kick, man, to make that kick and that pressure, gotta have it, man. And the confidence. They get yards like, man, if they're gonna throw like a little quick slant here, gets no yards. No, they run a draw just to move the ball because they knew he would kick it. Man, and this is where I ultimately landed. What a weapon that is, man, that you have the mindset. You talking about a game changer, and this is what I'm saying with Aubrey. I've never seen this. And I run from that statement like the plague. I've never seen a team have confidence in a kicker, and he's that impactful where he's completely changed your offensive game plan. Is like, man, look, if we get to the 50-yard line, we get to the logo, we're good. That's crazy. That's play calling. That's game management because the dude is going to run out there and nail a kick, man. And it's not just before halftime. That was to get it to overtime so they don't lose the game, and then he goes and wins it. So, man, this is mind-numbing stuff that's unfolding with Aubrey, encouraging stuff with this offense, concerning stuff with this defense. We'll see what they do this Sunday. Joey, what you got, man?
Oh, y'all, it's the show. D Brown with that long-ass tape. It was good, though. It was good. It was good. You encapsulated what most of us feel. Go ahead, JC.
Man, they get to the 50. Thank you for moving the screen and putting me front and center. That Dallas Cowboys Straight No Chaser logo was piercing my brain. And of course, it cost the Raiders a first-round pick for Seabass. They didn't know about his pill addiction and cigarette smoking. But anyway, they get to the 50, right? And they get the ball to Williams, man, just give me 3. Fall down, dude. What are you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he gets some 3, and you're just like, yeah, 64. Yeah, he's got that in his bag. And as DB said, would have been good from 70. Man, he blasted that one. He's a big dude, too, man. That's a big boy, man. 6'3", 220. Played striker and soccer so he can run, right? But I don't want that sumbitch making noun tackles. No, dude. I don't want you making any tackles. All right? Yeah. Seriously, man. Run off the field after you kick off, man. Just real quick, man, I want to, kind of give a little shout out to our friends up there in that New York City, greatest city in the world. And just watching that game, brought back memories of the great tradition-rich nature of New York City sports. I'll take you guys back about 20 years or so. I was watching a Dallas Mavericks New York Knicks game. And, the Mavericks were in the midst of, they win 50 every year, right? And the Knicks were trying to get it back together. They brought Stephon Marbury back home. Prodigal son returns. They're playing the Mavericks, national TV. They're underdogs. They're fighting. It's emotional. Rosie Perez, Spike Lee are at the game. It was really a heartfelt, great New York City sports moment, and they went on to lose that game. In your face, Gotham. Choke on that. All right? I'm telling you, man, that game was insane, right? It looked like, I've said before on the show, one of the differences between college and pro football is, no ho shit. You don't see one team gets a bomb, another team gets a bomb, 40 seconds left, 60-yard touchdown, 20 seconds left, another 60-yard play. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't see the back and forth like that, man. NFL defenses normally kind of tighten that shit up. But that was just an unbelievable game to watch. I was really juiced. I was as juiced after that game as I was kind of downtrodden after the Eagles game, as obviously I make glass half empty guy, as opposed to DB, who was a glass half full guy. But you know, it's a
Some
nice.
people call that a pessimist.
Yeah, it's a nice little contrast, man. I mean, that's football. It's so emotional and it's so week to week, you know, and you get caught up in that wave of the you know, social media crew where it's, you know, either you're going to win the bowl or you're trash.
Right.
You know, it's so many extremes. But again, I was very pleased, you know, to see them fight back, and I got to give a lot of credit to obviously the two guys in any franchise that are on the gun line, and that's the quarterback and the head coach. I think Dak is just this guy, just is effusive with this positive energy, man. And you look at the, you know, the little video you showed with him doing this little hip turn. It has got to be, for lack of a better word, it's got to be a motherfucker being Dak Prescott. You know, just the microscope that he's under, right? And the attention that he gets. And I kind of juxtapose that against Micah, right? I'm going to tell y'all, man, I don't know if you know it or not. I can see it in Micah's face. Shit's different in Green Bay. It's different being a Green Bay Packer on the world stage than it is being a Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely different. And there's good and bad that goes with that, but it's the attention. It's the attention that you get, right? Now imagine this. You know, Mike is at, you know, at a party thrown by Jamie Foxx in Los Angeles, right? It's always, who's that guy? You know, who's he, right? Oh, yeah, man, it's Micah Parsons. Oh, yeah? Who? Plays football for the Green Bay Packers. Okay. Right? But then you say, oh, you know, that's homeboy from the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, shit, man, that's a dude from the Cowboys. You know, it's just a little bit different, you know, and all that stuff is magnified, right? You know, it's like, you know, it's almost like a cocaine effect, like Bill Cosby said about cocaine. Well, it intensifies your personality. You know, it seems like this Dallas Cowboys experience is like, you know, a hit and a recoil, you know, from a line of blow, and you're just in this world of sensory overload, right? Yeah. You know, Cowboys, right? And I'm telling you, look at his face, man. He is not pleased to be in Green Bay, and it's starting to set in. All right, now, I don't wish that for him, but it's kind of a fact, man. The Cowboys are just under a massive microscope. You have a Giants team that's struggling, okay? And obviously a lot of eyes are on that game. And now, today, they go and play Chicago, another great, massive sports town, city of broad shoulders. And that some bitch is a national game. And look, I think Caleb Williams has a ton of talent. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're just kind of in that spot where they're trying to get it going, right? You know, they're kind of trying to figure some things out, you know, but yet still here we are, man. National TV game. Chicago, the Bears versus them boys, and it's a national TV game. Surprised me a little bit, but then I thought about it and not really. So what's going to be, for me, interesting to watch, being a glass half empty guy, all right, really as solid as the Cowboys have been in the last 25 years, which I know people don't believe that. Nobody shows up and flops against a team they should beat or gets blown out by a team that they are as good as, like the Cowboys. I mean, it is truly sometimes, as they say, the S show at the F factory, right, with them. So, you know, there's always that undertone. And today, I got to tell you, boys, as I land the plane, today, in a lot of ways, feels like one of those flop games, you know, and maybe I'm having deja vu because in 1999, I believe it was, the Cowboys, it was either 99 or 98, but I know Chan Gailey was there. And they go up and they play the Bears. And the Bears had Curtis Enos, and they're still trying to figure out if he can actually even play. They're not a very good team. The Cowboys are a playoff team, and they go up and they lose that game, 13-12. Just no excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse for it, man. And this kind of feels like that. But again, we'll get into our evaluation of the Chicago Bears later as I throw it back to the panel And luckily, my man Cliff has got a hat on, so that Cowboys logo is not piercing his dome like it was mine.
Well stated, JC. Well stated, goddammit. Well, yeah, man. Listen, man. You guys have kind of hit all the points to be hit. And kind of going back to D Brown's point. As the game went to a conclusion, we tried to tie the game up. How we just basically ran that simple play to get Aubrey on the field to kick that 64-yarder. I'm at home screaming at the TV. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we not trying to get a bigger, gash of yards to get in better position? Because we had the time. And and it's one of those things, man. I gotta give Coach Shotty his credit. He knew something that we ain't know. He like,
yes.
Hey, Brandon, where you want the ball? All right, say less. Get the ball with my kicker say he wanted. I trust him. Did it. Execution. Going to OT. OT was ugly, but we got it done. Boom. Huh?
That was the ugliest 9.5 minutes of a 10-minute overtime period.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. It's funny because it just comes off of one of the greatest fourth quarters I've seen in a long time.
Right.
As far as
game. Completely different game. Yeah. It was a totally different game in overtime, man. What a trip.
Every time we
came
lost
up to the lane, nobody could score,
Man, every time we lost possession, I'm like, oh, shit. Rush time. Rush the neighbor's time. It never happened again. I was just like, what the hell is this even? But at any rate, let's go by the numbers of what we saw last week. Russell Wilson with 450 yards passing. Now, listen, D. Brown, I know you took a lot of heat for this. Ladies and gentlemen in the listening audience, this won't happen again. As we know, a lot of blown coverages, took place being out there in cover 2 defense last week. And listen, man, shout out to Russell Wilson for exploiting it. Go right central.
Out.
Man, he had neighbors doing what neighbors was drafted to do, which is put somebody behind them and hit his head on the goalpost. They did what they're supposed to do, right? So that probably won't happen again. So I won't say it's super discouraging for Cowboy faithful out there, but I mean that's just what happened last week. Scatterbo ran the ball great in my opinion.
Love him.
It was 45 yards, but it felt like 85. It felt like 85.
It felt like 85 in a bowling pin.
Yes, running over motherfuckers like Rodney Hampton.
Absolutely.
He was getting it done, man.
I love
it. He worked the ball, man. I think he might be pretty good.
Absolutely. And for a rookie, that looks really good. So on our side, Dak Prescott, 38 of 52 for 361 yards. Now, about 5 years ago, if you told us that Dak Prescott threw the ball 52 times, it would have been like, okay, what the hell are we doing? But the accuracy, was there. Dak played a really good football game, and like D. Brown led in earlier too. The leadership of Dak Prescott is just something that's showing that we have not seen since like year one. As far as we trust this guy is going to show us something that we don't know in ourselves. Being a new coaching staff, Micah Parsons leaving the team, so there's an identity issue. Like who's going to be the guy? Dak Prescott has quelled all the concern from me personally. I got to say. Of like, how's he gonna come back as a leader? Because that's a grown ass man. We got a quarterback one. Let me just say that, and let the people be reminded. Clark has the same amount of sacks as one Micah Parsons. So for all those who keep trying to, like we said with the Cowboys weekly, it's about we're the best team or we're the worst thing since sliced bread. So everybody wants to make us feel bad about losing Micah Parsons, but at the end of the day, Clark is doing what we asked him to do. He's good as advertised. Go ahead.
Man, if I may, I'm glad you brought him up before we move to the matchup. Man, that's the guy I didn't mention in the lead. I'm stoked about that dude, man. Like, you hear about guys because we follow it like we follow it, right? And they can play. But it's always a different, viewpoint when with our guys and you see them week to week. Right.
Right.
Man, that is a grown ass man in the line, and he and Odigizua together are disruptive as hell. I think it was on the first, maybe the second sack, and that's the other thing, man. All the fireworks and whatnot, and you look at it, and Dallas had 3 sacks in that game. It was like, damn, they did. And the first one was with Clark. Odigizua, and you're just like, but man, he is a disruptive cat, man. And I mean the feet, the power, he's got it all. And I was like, man, if this is kind of what we're looking at, going forward, I'm in. But I'm damn glad, for all the noise that was made about the Parsons trade, and look, and Lord knows it's going to get even louder in the coming week. But but man, I think Dallas made out more than all right with the guy they have in uniform and Big Clark, man. Yeah, so
I'll tell you what, he shows up at that Jamie Foxx party and he's surrounded by chicks instantly, right? Because he's that dude from the Cowboys. Oh, that's homeboy from the Cowboys. Chicks are all around. Mike is standing over there stirring his drink, looking around, right?
I like this theme now. So we're going to base the whole show based on Jamie Foxx parties. I like that. So we're going to do that all the way
That's
through.
my dude. That's my man right there.
I like that.
And I tell you what, man, he is and of course, football players are big. We get it. But boy, Clark is a big son of a bitch. He looks like a one-tech nose tackle. But as I predicted, not that I'm right all the time, as I predicted, man, he will flourish in a 4-3 in terms of being able to get a few more sacks. You don't see cats, playing a one-tech in a 3-4 getting a lot of sacks. You just don't. That's kind of not their job. It's ride the guard, center out, that kind of thing, man. But this guy, in addition to being an excellent run defender, all right, he gets a little bit of push there in the pocket, man. He's a good, very, very good football player. I can remember, back when I used to play Madden, right? And you're trying to shuffle your team and rebuild and stuff, and you look and you see this rookie, right? Kenny Clark from UCLA, and he's 20 years old, and so I'm like, wow, so I'm always, guys like him and D'Angelo Hall came in when he was 20, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta have those guys, right? You want to have them because they're so young, when they come in, man, and he's just been good every single year, man. He has been good every single year, and that was a great pickup. Not just for the run defense. He's been kind of their main pressure guy, and so that's kind of what we're going to be able to watch going forward. Now, we had talked about him leading the team in sacks and that not being sustainable, and I understand that. But again, man, you get 7, 8, 9 sacks from an interior guy. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. So the guys, on the outside have got to step up. But real quick before I land this plane, we sure are flying a lot of planes on this show. Before I land this one, okay, we talked about Russ and everything that he did that was fantastic up until those last 2 or 3 critical plays. Okay, now he had the backwards pull down, tuck rule, sideways fumble
with the Benny Hill music.
Yeah, and that was because Nealon was in his face. Okay. Then on the interception, Sam Williams made an appearance in his face with his hand up, which kind of altered that Ephus pitch that he threw, that he basically punted to my man Donovan Wilson, who could have, like I said in the national show we did later on Sunday, Wilson could have fair caught that motherfucker. And so, in the end, you are what you are. Okay, and Russ was great up until that point, but those were 2 gaffes that you cannot have. All right. Don't throw that football, Russ, on the deep ball. Man, come on, you're smarter than that, man. Eat that sumbitch. Just eat it. You know what I'm saying? Live to play another play, man. And that was, so by the time you add it up, it's an L. It's an L, man. As good as Russ was, 450 and all that. And he was very good up until that point, and this is something that we'll talk about, as we move forward and get into Chicago. Eberflus is a big zone guy. The Cowboys defensive coordinator is a big zone guy. And they had rookies in the slot. And when you play zone, your slot guys are ultimately the key. You got to reroute those receivers. You have to reroute them. And it can't be just a push the back, Olay type shit. You got to reroute them. And the way you reroute them, your hands are your last option. Okay. You really want to just beat him to that spot and bump him. You want to bump him. Because what had happened was those slot guys kept getting free releases.
Yeah.
Okay. Just free releases. So really the design of those plays that ended up going to the slot, the way that works is you threaten from the slots, but it's really what that sets up. Sets up the inside release, and the deep comeback hookup, right? Because when the slot guys are playing zone, they're helped over the top by the safeties, all right? And that means that the outside guys have deep thirds. So the bottom line is just don't get beat deep. It's like when Jordan hit all those threes on Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler was like, cool, you ain't going to dunk on my ass on TV. That's for sure. These guys are covering deep thirds, so all the comebacks and the inside releases are available. Well, hell, Russ is like, I don't have to wait on that shit. I can hit the slot guys. So, you had rookies in the slot. I think when they get Bland back, I know that's going to be a help. This guy, along with Trent McDuffie, is the best slot corner in the NFL. The difference that he makes is palpable. Okay, he plays boundary, first to second, nickel, slides inside. And let me tell you something, man. That guy, I believe he's the best slot corner in the NFL. The difference that he makes is, as I said before, palpable. And one more thing. Later on, they're going to get Ravel back.
Yeah, they are.
Shannon Bell. This is another big corner.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's a serious man type of corner. Okay. So that means he can help in the slot as well as the boundary. All right. That's going to make a difference for your football team. Your D-backs and your defensive line work in concert. Okay. It's all about getting hands on the deep routes to delay them by 0.3 to a half of a second to give your pass rush an extra couple of steps to get there. Okay. That's kind of how that works. So I'm very, very hopeful, even without any changes in personnel, that they can get that fixed. Because, that's a bad deal, man. The Giants had 7 plays of 20 or more yards.
Yeah, it was gassing.
Look, to me, them some bitches couldn't do that in practice. And they come to the game and do it. Man, I mean, that was tough to watch, but it's a win. And in closing, I'll say, I got to tell you, man, Schottenheimer, I am starting to really be impressed with this guy. I love the game management. All right. And there was no stupid stuff leading up to when they needed all their timeouts. They had them.
Yes, they did.
They had all their timeouts, which was great. And he's, as we said, get to the star, right? Aubrey's over there on the sideline chilling like this.
Yes, sir.
Come in, right?
Man,
oh, yeah, hey, man, we good. You just see, it's like, hey, man, you go for 64. You can just see Aubrey. Gotcha. Right? No problem, right? And he does a beautiful, beautiful stroke. It seems like it's the same every time. You would see Vinatieri.
Good
right
night.
now, he's the greatest kicker of all time. You see Vinatieri, he's not as big as Aubrey, but Vinatieri's a good-ass athlete, man. And he's kind of a muscled-up dude, but you can see when he's like, all right, man, I got to get some ass into this. You can kind of see it. With Aubrey, it's that same, like a beautiful golf swing. You know what I'm saying? So, again, offense rolls, defense holds. Well, defense really didn't hold, but special teams definitely played special. And you need that. This is the NFL, baby. These games come down to the fourth quarter. Points are at a premium. You need that. That changes. Dak Prescott even said, he said, oh, yeah, man, we see different defenses, when we start getting close to their 45. Right? It's like, oh, shit, there's 3. You watch the team and you're like, well, they might not be able to, they're at the 30. They might not be able to get in, they lose a few yards. Then they got, as DB said, a 50-yard field goal. Oh, I don't know. The Cowboys are at midfield and you're like, 3 more yards. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's for a draw play.
Yeah. Williams was like, I can really run for some more here, but I need to go down. Right. And he falls down and it timeout. You got to have those in order to use them. All right. And I was, you get a little nervous over those 60 yards. Of course, this is the record holder for most 60-yard kicks in NFL history. Yep. This kid, right, Aubrey. And he's not super young. He's 30. But again, man, it's just, you just expect him.
45. That's cool. Yeah. I'll take him for another decade and a half.
Exactly. You just expect him to make those kicks. And I saw him on the McAfee show. And Pat's like, well, because Pat was a punter. He's like, well, what's your range? And he's like, man, it's just kind of, how I'm hitting him in warmups. He's got a real sensible calmness to him, by his nature. Okay. Real, and that's what you want, man. You want those guys that are dialed in. As Jimmy Johnson said, man, I want the guy that can make the 3-foot putt every single time, 8-ball corner pocket every single time. Right. And that's what you have with this guy, man. And trust me, he definitely helps your football team when you start playing the field position. But again, real quick, back to Schottenheimer. Just loving what he's doing, man. The commitment to the run game is there. Now, luckily, it's worked a little bit better than I thought it would. It was definitely a nice run by Sanders to get a touchdown to kind of redeem himself a little bit from the previous week. And so I think, as you alluded to, Cliff, game management, use of timeouts, field position, knowing your team. You could just feel it. It's like, oh, he's sending the kicker out there. That's a 64-yard kick. Schottenheimer's like, I know my team. I know what they got in the bag. So I'm hoping that something that Schottenheimer can add is no more flopping. No more flopping. No more being down 28-7 in the first half of a playoff game. No more going and playing the Chicago Bears, who, let's face it, man, they're kind of a dumpster fire of a franchise. All due respect, right? You know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that his presence and influence is going to develop a lot more consistency out of a football team that, even without Micah Parsons, they still have some guys, some good guys.
Bingo. Well stated, man. Listen, let me put it this way to kind of crystallize that point you made about Coach Shotty. And before I do that, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Come on now. You're getting this premium uncut dope over here, man. Stepped on dope. All y'all hood people know what that is when it's stepped on. It's ready to go.
Don't hit it twice. That's unlike. It's not like all-star game balloting where you can send in 1 million ballots. Just hit it once and then back off of it.
Hit that like button, man. I was about to say something wrong. All right, so do that. Hit that like button. Now, guys, and so I want to say this too, JC. You kind of, to crystallize your point about Coach Schottenheimer. So this goes back to a comment that I made to D Brown the first time he spoke, his first initial interview. I text D Brown like, yo, listen, man, I know it's early. I know it's early. D Brown, listen, look at me. I know it's early.
Right, put that disclaimer in there.
Yeah, but the way this dude's talking, I have not seen the Cowboys coach talk that way in quite some time.
Yep, I remember that conversation vividly.
He may not be a guy with a resume per se, but he seemed to be a guy who's been groomed properly. And it's something to be said about that, because we know a dude named Sean McVay, who at the time was a horrible hire, but it turned out that some bitch knows some football, right? Being the youngest head coach. And he got some right to prove it.
That's the man.
Right. So I was kind of, so it made me think, okay, so maybe the Cowboys have turned the corner. Instead of going for these system guys or a splash name, because, the fighter wire throws out all the, is Bill Belichick coming to the Cowboys? Is Pete Carroll coming to the Cowboys? You know how it goes. We bought a guy and everybody scratched their heads, and dare I say they laughed bringing in Brian Schottenheimer. And,
no doubt. Yes, absolutely.
So hearing him speak, I'm like, listen, that's a ball coach right there. So, hey, I can get behind his message. He talked about accountability early. He talked about getting guys in line and you have to do your job. I'm like, that's not what you generally hear coming from a coach. It should be something you should hear, goddammit. That's something I hear from Tomlin. And I like that Tomlin talk, if we being honest.
100%.
So he had my support. I don't care who was laughing, because they laughed about Travis Frederick being drafted in the first round. He's a third-round candidate, and we know how well that troll action aged. He only became one of the best centers in Cowboys history. But, I mean, whatever. So I wanted to say that as we go forward to kind of steel man Joey's point. That was great, what you touched on. And let me say this, too. So I know we talked about the defensive woes in this segment. And so we did address that problem. So real quick takes. Your opinions about, we were kind of soft, we were kind of warm on your boy Jadeveon Clowney, former number 1 overall pick, to after the Giants game, it's like, let's go ahead and get this deal done. And, before the ink even dried, Clowney was on the first thing smoking. out there to Frisco. Gentlemen, your quick take on Jadeveon Clowney coming in and helping out on that edge, and then we'll move on to talking about the Bears.
I think he can help. And if he helps you win a football game, the signing was worth it, and I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. I do too. I mean, a guy with his pedigree, a guy with his ability, because when you're talking about a signing like that, you're literally signing on resume, right? The sizzle to his name has long since faded, but this is a guy who addresses a need, and you just look at the production. And even in his last stint, what did he go? 7, 8 sacks or so in his last stint?
Carolina?
Yeah.
I think he got 9 sacks for Carolina last year.
So,
but nobody notices because
he's only 32. He's only 32 at the end of the day.
That's the thing that surprised me. Cliff was like, when I looked up all the statistical stuff, because I knew we touched on this, I'm like, damn, he's only 32 years old. You just want, a little bit left in the Duracell, right? And go out there and do what you do. And to me, it's anything that he can do to enhance what we're starting to see in that interior, and maybe free guys up like a Sam Williams, like a Nealon. Those guys. Look, maybe they glean 1 or 2 more sacks because you have Jadeveon Clowney out there. We've seen that effect when Micah Parsons is out there. The other guy eats because of the attention. So, hey, man, I mean, he's a guy you have to pay attention to. And if he gives them anything close to what his pedigree has been, I'm with it. And, there's not a lot of compensation there. Go for it. And I like the move. You know what? Yeah, we don't have Parsons. We need a pass rusher. Well, hell, go get one that can rush the passer. I like the move.
Well, and he is subject to some unfair expectations. Just very quickly, he's subject to some unfair expectations. Again, with the hype and everything coming out, and again, also you look at him. He is the perfect sized right end, 6'5", 267 pounds. He looks like a prototypical defensive end. So again, now, without the unfair expectations, no, he's probably not going to come in and get double-digit sacks. But this is a guy that is a pro, a very solid, good pro, coming off a 9-sack season that can help you. And you need help. You're not going to get a Micah Parsons off the street, okay? Correct. But you got this guy off the street, okay? And he can help. We'll see, but he can help, man. He was solid last year. And he can help, and that's what they need. We already know, man, it's going to be a pass rush by committee, but the guy can definitely help. I don't know if he's playing today or not. Jerry says he is. Schottenheimer says we'll see. Oh, wow, conflicting messages from the GM and head coach. Wow, I'm shocked. We'll see. I know that they can use the guy. As they say, when you got problems, you got to make changes. And so hopefully later on down the road, when they get Ravel back and Bland back and they get Clowney into the fold, I think the defense can at least be solid, middle of the pack.
Yeah, and listen, man, at the end of the day, you bring a guy in with a bevy amount of a resume and, experience, and he seems to have kind of matured to a point where you want him to help counsel the younger guys. Rook out there at left end, bring in, even helping cultivate James Houston, man. Like James Houston, he's only 25, 26.
Get him in the damn game. Let him play.
Yeah. So
the local media is saying that too. The local media wants to see him too. I heard him saying it this week. I'm like,
I told y'all that before when we signed him. I told y'all over here. First straight no chaser. James Houston is that dude, man.
Get him in the damn game. He can rush the pass.
Yeah. Yep. I'm glad you still made my point about local media finally catching on, because I've seen that for years from James Houston. But go ahead, D. Brown, what you got?
Yeah, I know we're about to get in this matchup. I like the point you make about the experience and then the maturity piece. Because this guy was the number 1 overall pick that came in with literally bigger hype than Micah Parsons did. Like Micah Parsons was a flash pick, but there was still some head scratching. Like, him at 10. Right?
Yeah.
Because there were some cornerbacks that Dallas was looking at in that draft that went off the board, Surtain being one of them. And it's like, damn. Oh yeah. But I was hyped about Micah Parsons. I did not know that Micah Parsons would turn into quite what he's become. But Jadeveon Clowney was a number 1 overall pick. Like, this dude was a badass man in college. with the expectation of being a badass man, in the pros. And
consensus number one. It didn't come out of nowhere either.
He didn't play the bowl game. That's back when they started off when you didn't play the bowl game.
Right. The fact that he's seen it and done it, he's had a very good career, probably falling short of, I would say it was pretty safe to say he had a Hall of Fame expectation coming in, like a Myles Garrett type.
You expect him to at least be a Pro Bowler.
Right. It didn't pan out to that, but he's been productive. And to Cliff's point, which I think is a very good one, now he's matured. He's had, 6-7 stops or so. He's seen it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys saw. Did you see any of the interviews he did during the week, like when he signed? I thought it was really funny, man, because he said, man, this is like, I think he named the number of teams he's been on. And he was talking about the facility, to kind of tie into your point, JC, about it's the Cowboys. He said, I've been on a bunch of teams. He goes, but here, and mind you, bro, he's just off the plane in some sweats. Hadn't even seen the practice field yet. He was like, they spoiled around here, man. They do things a little different around here, man. I ain't seen nothing like this shit, right? But to have that experience, man, to just give a tip to a guy like an Ezra Rocker, right? You talking about a guy Houston. I mean, and again, the whole deal's worth it if he comes up when Dallas maybe is not doesn't have it, struggling offensively, not clicking on all 8, and the defense is having to stand up, and it's a fourth quarter of a tight game. You're up for teams driving, and he comes up with the big sack. If he does that, which he's capable of doing, to JC's point, it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. So I'm excited to see what he's able to contribute. And I'll land it here. I like the messaging because it's not Dallas sitting on their laurels. Hey, man, we've identified the problem. We're not going to figure out, hey, man, we'll just stick with what we got and hope good things happen. They went out and made a move. And if the move failed, so what? But I like the messaging that they're trying to do something to better the team. And when are they trying to do it? They're trying to do it right damn now. And I like that part here. So we'll see what happens.
I think him and Clark were both greeted by the roving band of Adderall out MILFs drinking vodka tonics coming from Zumba classes, right? And they're like, man, this is great. Damn, you don't see shit like this in Green Bay or Carolina. God, these broads, they're so flexible and so willing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it is, man. It is Hollywood. Baby, when you come to the Cowboy, you look up, people are giving you shit for free. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, there's just something about it, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's a good pickup. I'm excited. I think he can help. And I tell you what, he's another one of those guys. Like Sedarian. He's just super cool. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, man. I'm coming in. I'm giving me some sacks and get my bag right. And I like it here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. I want to see him in a Cowboy uniform, and I want to see how he's able to help.
Yeah. Nah, solid takes all the way around. So again, guys, hit that like button, man. You getting that Cowboy talk, but we're not sitting here, harping on, the obvious things. We sit here delving into things that's going to actually show up on Sunday. So I hope y'all appreciate that with at least a like, man. With at least a like. I mean, you can super chat, but that's a little much. We ain't got to focus so far on that.
Because we care. That's our problem. We care too much.
There we go. God damn it. All right, so moving right along. Now we got the bad news Bears this week. And they've been getting that issue. Well, I'm not gonna say week one. Week one, they had a competitive game against the Vikings, but last week they caught that issue, losing 52-21. And by the numbers, Jared Goff goes 23 for 28 for 5 tubs. Gears with 94 yards, 1 tub. St. Brown with 3 tubs. It just was an ass whooping. And Caleb Williams on his side, who's supposed to be this generational talent, I just can't take him serious with the spirit hands and all that good shit. But 19 to 30, accurate, accuracy issues, not really the problem, but 2 tubs, 1 interception with 207 yards, not good enough. And they don't have a lot really going for them, putting no sacks, no pressure on the Lions. So it seems like they're going to be chumming the water by conventional thinking. But, gentlemen, the 0-2 Bears, We got them, in the crosshairs, man. Some of your prognostications of what we're gonna see and what should we do to this Swiss cheese ass defense that we about to face. Let's just call it a buck.
Real quickly, Dallas has to get up on them early. It's just literally one of those. I think that team is really right for, man, if they're down 21-3.
Yeah.
I don't see the fight. I don't see, not only do I not see the ability for them to make that a game if Dallas doesn't do anything dumb and get to them. So it's real simple. Take advantage of these matchups, especially in the air, right? Because Cliff was reading those stats and you're thinking, spirit fingers. There we go, brother.
I can't, man. I can't.
Yeah, neither can I. But you're giving up those statistics to the wideouts, right? And as you were saying that and thinking about it, before the show, I'm thinking, okay, this has to be where CD and Pickens eat. I'm looking for really like a big breakout type of game for Pickens, right? So the thing is to get up on them early in the game, play clean. In other words, don't give them an opportunity to believe. Go out there and to your now 5-year rolling point, Cliff, we should beat their ass, right? I mean, go out there and begin that ass whooping early. Like, don't hang around with that 10-3 action till the middle, late third, and then pull away late. You've given them optimism. If go out there, play clean, do what you are capable of doing, and kind of take them out of this thing if you can prior to halftime. Get out of it clean. And if you're up on them early, get to this evolving run game with Javonte Williams, sprinkling some Sanders. Might we see blue this week? Who knows? But feed that let those young guys come off the ball and start pounding these guys in submission because you built an early lead with your big play guys on the outside. Revert to that run game. Keep it clean. Don't give them opportunities. Get out of there with this win that you absolutely need to have as you welcome the visiting Green Bay Packers next Sunday. So don't go out there and spit the bit when you have the opportunity to go out there and match a team that you should actually go out and kick their ass. Get up on them early, pound them out with the run game, play clean, get on the plane, get back to the house.
All right, let me address the alley-oop. So Caleb Williams, he paints his fingernails on his mother, who's worked the nail tech this entire life, and expresses into the individuality about things and not mind stand out. Well, let me say this. I'm the youngest one on the panel, so I guess, being a millennial, I can be a little more empathetic because I know you guys, Gen Z, right? Gen X.
I'm Gen X.
Gen X. Okay, yeah. Even still, I'm saying fuck that. No. If my mama was a professional thong maker and I wanted to honor my mama by wearing thongs, I'd be a straight turbo weirdo. So no, you don't get the pass and just painting your nails and like, oh buddy, I think he plays for the 76ers. I just don't like that trend because the reason why is because I used to be a teacher. And these kids pick up on what these athletes do, as we all know. No secret about it. Yeah, breaking news, fuck that.
Right.
No, it's just like, to me, it's just like you play a violent game. You play a manly game. And I just don't want, because that opens the door for all these other little non-masculine things that invade the space of professional football. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's a threat to the proliferation of the race. All right. Everything seems to trend a certain kind of a way, with the fingernail painting and Cam Newton dressing like Medea and people wearing pink and shit. It's a bad path to go down. But hey, man, Caleb, if you were honoring your mom, you should have said so from jump. And I would have been like, oh, okay. Because moms, come on, man. We all love moms. You know what I'm saying? If you'd have said that from jump, I probably would have looked at shit differently. Again, man, I think a lot of what DB was saying is spot on. Look, play your game, a solid game, focus on you and focus on self. Let them freak out like they do and all of a sudden forget how to play football. You know what I'm saying? You just keep playing your game. And Schottenheimer's the guy to get them on that path is what it seems like to me, man. It's just about football. I just feel like Schottenheimer, it's almost a perfect storm, man. He waited and waited and waited and got his chance, and he picked up some good knowledge along the way. And you could just see it, because he's in his early 50s, and you could just see it. He's like, oh, boy, if I ever get a chance, I'm not going to do that, or I am going to do that, and it works into a perfect storm. So we're getting positive, feedback, positive results from coaching, as we said, which was something that we wanted. Again, in terms of, the Bears, I was very much ready, obviously being a glass half empty guy, to come in here and predict a flop. But man, I mean, they are just racked with injuries on defense. They've lost their best player. I mean, it's just that, that's hard to overcome. Hard to overcome. They caught a break today, man. DeAndre Swift is going to play. And that helps your football team. He's a damn good running back. But they're just racked with injuries on a defense that was full of questions. Again, it's not a surprise before I land the plane. It's not a surprise, all right, that where are the big questions with the Bears? Okay, it's not a receiver because your boy Rome, I've always loved Rome. Mm-hmm. I think he's going. I thought the Giants blew it. Malik Neighbors, great player. Okay, but I thought the Giants blew it when they didn't pick Rome. And I was kind of glad that they didn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a big dude. This is like a tailback playing receiver. This is a Terrell Owens, Miles Austin, a big dude, that's out there catching passes, and they can do something with it when he does, but what are their problems? Well, it's a common refrain. It's up front on both sides. They need pass rushers, impact players, and they need to get that offensive line right. They need to get that offensive line right. They got a pretty good tight end. They got Moore, and they've got Romy, and they can do some things, but it doesn't seem to be sustainable because of the erratic play sometimes of their quarterback, which I think is kind of brought about because, again, they haven't gone about building that offensive line the right way, in my opinion. So I think that's, this is a spot where certainly on the offensive line, I think the Cowboys have a tremendous advantage. Thanks for the clip, DB, of my man Booker, just straight one punching,
I know you love
Carter, right? And you would say welcome to the NFL, but shit, they're both rookies, But that's I think we're seeing that he's going to be an excellent pick. Now it sucks that Cooper Beebe is out, but they brought in Hoffman, who's an experienced guy. And besides the one botch snap, I think he held up pretty good, so there's a little bit of continuity there. But again, back to the Bears, you got to build it inside out, man. You got your quarterback. I mean, you spent 78 number ones doing it, after running through Trubisky and Fields, and you still don't know if you got the guy. So I think, again, it's what I talked about. These are picks when you're trading 2 picks to get a 1, when you're trading up to get Trubisky, when you're, if Caleb falls into your lap. It's all of those years that you weren't able to pick, a John Alt, or a great offensive lineman, which you take with those picks, and it's not exciting to the fan base, but you have to do it. You have to do it. So they weren't able to make those picks because they're steadily chasing a quarterback, and it shows. There's an accelerated level of expectations with this kid, and I think it's unfair. All right. He needs to be given time. I mean, I saw some shit. He was a rookie last year. I saw one of the crawls on one of these ridiculous sports shows where they say, is the Caleb Williams experiment over? Is he a bust? Come on, man. He just freaking got here, man. Right. He's got talent, build from the inside out and get this kid a foundation. That's what it takes when you play quarterback. My friend was asking me about Shedeur Sanders. What's it going to take? Well, first he needs an opportunity. Then you need the organization to get behind you, to build around you, to stay with you, to put up with your growing pains. That's what you need. And, hell, man, the Giants haven't had a quarterback since fucking Sid Luckman. Sid Luckman.
Right.
All right, like seriously, man. These guys haven't had a quarterback in forever. So what's the difference, in waiting a few years? Now that you got one that you can see, he clearly has a ton of talent. I mean, he's like the way he makes those throws from odd, twisty, turny type angles, man, and he still got zip on him. It's almost Mahomes like. You know what I'm saying? And so stick with the kid and build around him. Build around him and stick with him and support him. Everybody's in such a rush in this drive-through society that we live in, man, for him to be boom or bust. And that's the thing, man. They just got to have patience. Right. And it's going to be a rocky road until then. And, today's an interesting game, man. It's like a team that is struggling will beat the Cowboys. And all of a sudden, was this the turnaround moment? You know what I'm saying? Was this the moment that turned it around for them? And believe it or not, all these power rankings, which power rankings are stupid in the NFL. They have this thing at the end of the NFL, man. It's called playoffs. All right. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, man, searching for clicks and shit. These power rankings, man, they're a joke, but yet still, they've got the Cowboys at 20, 19, 21. Okay. All right, man. I don't see it that way. All right. In terms of where their position is in the league. And trust me, if the Bears can get this one today, if they can get this win today, man, it's going to help their football team tremendously, man, because Dallas is still, to me, a very solid football team.
For sure. Yeah, I thought that was solid, man. I mean, and one thing I can appreciate about being a Cowboy fan is amongst a lot of chaotic things that we may, perceive because, Jerry loves the spotlight. We all know this. He's committed to putting a competent O-line out there as best as he can since we can call it, 2017 and beyond, right? Because we had that one chaotic year giving up, 5 sacks against Atlanta when we were trying to hodgepodge things. I think Terrence Steele was
Chance Green.
Huh?
Chance Green.
Yeah.
That was the tackle that came in and gave up. Yeah, like the man got like 5 sacks off of Chance Green.
Yeah. And Connor McGovern was young. Connor Williams from UT, young, light ass.
After that, they didn't even try to hide Green at guard anymore. They said, man, we've seen all we need to see, man. Ain't no moving you inside and hiding you, man.
You can't even move him to guard the front door doing preseason shit. Get him all the way out here, man. You can't protect nothing. Get him out of here. No, it was bad. But that was a bad black eye on the Dallas Cowboy lineman era. But other than that, Jerry's been very competent of keeping a very good plug and play, and now a young developing line. So that, and we see the proof is in the pudding because every time we got to roll out Cooper Rush, he got a damn near clean pocket to go and operate. And we've had some seasons too in the last recent memory where we were still competing when we shouldn't be competing, having Cooper Rush back there. And if we go back to 2020 or 2021, the year escapes me exactly, but we was throwing your boy, DiVincenzo, whatever his name was, 7th-round pick. Huh?
Oh, yeah, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, what's his name? He's a 7th-round pick. He has like a national commercial now being a professional backup.
Oh, you're talking about DeVito.
DeVito, there we go.
DeVito.
The family taking the picture, so he steps in as the backup kid for the kids who don't want to cooperate. So, I mean, we've had O-lines to let these lesser than stellar quarterbacks come in and low key. I mean, I think he played against the Giants that game he started, and beside a few errant throws, I mean, we were in the game
right
with a competent O-line. So when you look across the field and to see what the Bears have not done is kind of give Fancy Nails an adequate support system for him to thrive, because he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who can come in and command the locker room. He look a little soft. He act a little soft. I mean, I know he's from D.C. Everybody from D.C. swear they're all the toughest motherfuckers that ever lived. But, he doesn't emanate that to me. He seems a little, I mean, I know I live in Southern California. He seems a little USC soft. I mean, those guys generally don't come into the locker room and come take it over with their personality. I can't name one personally. I don't know if you gentlemen can, beside with O.J. Simpson, beside damn, not even Reggie Bush, not Matt Leinart, not Sam Darnold.
Keyshawn, maybe?
I can't name a guy.
Keyshawn, maybe?
Maybe Keyshawn. All right, I'll go with that.
Mark Salin.
Okay, I'll go with that.
San Diego guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Mark Allen is a guy like that.
But generally speaking, my point pretty much stays there. Those guys aren't necessarily, they're more laid back. They're more cool because it spoils you. People say it spoils you being in Dallas. It damn sure spoils you playing at USC out here, man, because you get access to shit that NFL players barely get access to, especially if you play for Jacksonville, you play for Carolina. I would argue that the experience playing at USC is probably better than playing professional sports in those cities. Just saying. So with all that being said, so we got to take advantage of the fact that this franchise is floundering because they're worried about the wrong thing. They want to have flash because they haven't had a quarterback since been pimping. So what you're seeing is inconsistency because week one, like I led in with the last segment, against the Vikings, they look good. It was a good game. I think they lost by a score. And last week against a formidable team, the Lions, who got their ass whooped the week before, came back with their slump buster against them and blew their doors off 52-21. So D. Brown said it perfectly. We just got to not give teams like that hope. We got to step on their neck early, take away their confidence so they just know, okay, let's go ahead and mail it in 0-3. We're okay with that because there's no expectation of winning.
Correct. Yes.
There's no expectation of excellence, but if you let them hang around, guess what?
Get this one.
Fuck around, win this one. Like, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. When I lost a game we had no business losing, or almost lost a game I had no business losing, to winning a game when we had no business winning. And I'll give a specific example. When I was in Dallas, I was at I played at Mountain View College, the Division III JUCO. So we suck.
I played at Richland.
Okay. So shout out to the DCCCCD. So we were the worst team in the conference, but I transferred from Stephen F. Austin, so I was the big name guy on the program. But we sucked. But we played against Collin County, D1, JUCO. They had a kid. I forgot where he went after Collin County, but Collin County is where you want to go. Like, they got nice facilities, get your scholarship, and they'll put you to the next level.
It's better than Richland, that's for damn sure.
Huh?
I said it's better than Richland, that's for damn sure.
It's definitely better than Richland. And Richland's a good school. It's just a D3 JUCO. But anywho, we beat Collin County at Collin County, and that shit made the Dallas Morning News sports section when we beat them. JUCO ball. And it's because they let us hang around. And I kept trying to galvanize my teammates like, yo, we can get these dudes. Right. They bullshitting. And we got that dub. And I remember Coach was so happy he let me go home for a month, which was a mistake, for Christmas break. I came back out of shape. But my point is, man, I knew because we played Collin County the year previous. That was my second year in JUCO. And they beat our ass both times. So we knew there was going to be an ass whooping playing Collin County. But we like, oh, hold on now. This feels a little different this year.
Right.
It feels a little different. Y'all let us stay in this game. So confidence rises, and we got that dub. So my point is, you don't want lesser talent to start to get confidence because after you show me you human long enough, then I'm like, okay, you're not as good as I thought. So this mental barrier that I have in my head, now that's gone now. Now I believe. Now I can tackle this thing, and I'll make one more reference I saw that's pretty apropos of this. There's this video of these dogs. And so basically they're in this cage. I would say it's about 10 foot high. And the dogs just all jumping on the cage, just yapping, jumping. One dog starts to climb the chain link, and jumps over. And guess what happened after that first dog did it? All them goddamn dogs did the same thing. So when you move the ceiling of doubt, man, it's funny what the mind, what the body can do once you unlock the mind.
Absolutely.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Keep your foot on their neck, goddamn it.
Absolutely. From jump.
You see these crappy teams, right? And again, I'm doing my best, guys, to limit the pop culture references, right? But you see these crappy teams playing the Cowboys, right? And I think it was a hockey movie or something, right? Mystery Alaska or something, right? And at some point, one of the guys on the crappy teams, they look at each other and they say, "We can beat these guys."
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, man, you should not allow that. It should never, come to that. You know what I'm saying? It should never come to that,
It's definitely a Rocky Drago type of deal, right? You cut him, you hurt him. You see, he's not a man. You know what I'm saying? All of that shit. But to Cliff's point though, it's amazing when you get to the point where you believe that you can do something that you weren't expected to do, and you help them in that belief, then craziness ensues. So you got to go out there and take them out early. And the last added bit to both of y'all's points, that would be apropos if it were Cincinnati, if it were Cleveland, it were the Cardinals. But man, it's an extra stripe if you get this newfound confidence within this game, and you mess around and beat the Cowboys. It's a different deal. It's a total different, because guess what? You're gonna be the lead story on every sports show this week if that happens. So it's just an added deal. It's just the nature of playing against Dallas. So for all the reasons that we stated earlier, man, I mean, this is a chance for Dallas to establish a little momentum, get a consecutive win. And as you look at how this schedule was played out, and Dallas' schedule offers like just no soft spots at all. Dallas' schedule is real. And so I think this is one of these opportunities to get a game where the expectation is at least around here that they should win the game. I find it very interesting. I don't know if you gentlemen saw this, but Dallas, when I looked yesterday, Dallas was only a 1.5 point favorite, which was kind of surprising to me. Surprising and concerning all at the same time. It's like, damn, Vegas doesn't think is giving. I don't know if that was a bait deal, to move the money or what. But I was like, almost like, man, there's no way. I'm taking that bet. 1.5, Chicago. Come on, but strange as shit, right? So, bottom line is, man, get the dub. Going into Green Bay week 2-1 feels a hell of a lot different than 1-2. Facing that team as good as, because let's just face it, Green Bay is squarely in the conversation, and you don't want to go into that game with the prospect of having to win that game to get level at 2-2, or facing the really daunting task with the schedule that's in front of you and going 1-3. So this is a game you got to get. And JC, I did think about you, because you took that Philly loss harder than Cliff and I get it. But I thought about you looking at the dynamic of the need to win this game, because now losing that Philly game kind of stings even more, right? Because of this dynamic. It's like, damn, if they get that game, this deal feels different. You don't want to lose a game you should win anyway, but there's a different emphasis and there's a different feel because you did lose that Philly game, right? And you went to overtime and a nail biter with the Giants to get level at 1-1. So this, they all matter, right? I mean, you can't. We talked about it for years. Bank these wins when you can bank them, and this is the one they need to get for the implications going forward, right? It's game 3, but that's what I love about the NFL season. Each game contributes to the story, and it takes a life of its own and its impact on your season. Go win the damn game. Win the game.
It's like when you mentioned Cincinnati, I thought about the time that Barry Switzer dropped the Iowa State blast on their ass.
There you go.
Right?
100%.
Your Iowa States and, that kind of thing, man. It's like,
correct.
There's not that many Iowa States running around in the NFL.
It's really not.
And 1.5, that says a lot. And a lot of that is money. A lot of that is money, in terms of, we move the line, but again, too, a lot of times Vegas is kind of dead on in this a lot of times, so, I mean, we'll see.
Right.
Yep. Straight up. I mean, and listen, man, at the end of the day, one thing I'm liking about what I'm seeing, this slow moving storm with the Cowboys, is we seem to be a competent, good old Bears
boy.
So one thing I'm seeing is just competent moves, competent play. So again, I could take a moral victory loss against the defending champions week 1 when there's a lot of questions. I can take us winning a game that we normally would trick off when someone shows back the same gumption against the Giants. I would take that, because when we talk about this all the time, y'all, the NFL is comprised of 4 different mini seasons in one season. So far we're 1-1 in season 1, which is the first 4-game block. And all things considered, with all the question marks, with new coach, with Micah gone, with Pickens being a wild card, with the run game being a question mark, I think all things considered, again with BB going down, I know he's a rookie, but still, I think we're pretty goddamn. We're pretty damn solid in the storm of potential chaos, because old Cowboys, week 1, we get our doors blown off. Old Cowboys, we give up in a game that long or don't have the timeouts to manage the clock late to win a game like that. We've seen it so many times over. So, we commit a penalty to put ourselves in a position not to be, competitive late in that game to beat the Giants, man. I've seen it all the time. We're third and short. We get the stop, but somebody hits them too late. On the sideline, it's a automatic first down. I've seen that shit so many times. Shout out to Randy Gregory. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, where's the discipline? So again, Shotty has shown me that he ain't going. Like, we want to see Blue, but Blue ain't up to his standards right now. So
he's not getting it done, and I like that.
He ain't out there.
I like that. That's a great.
Mozzie not getting it done. We want to see Mozzie to see if did we just trick off that number 1 pick? He like, nah, he ain't ready. You're not gonna see him. So I got quiet confidence in this organization. I gotta say, man. So I think that this will age well. Time will tell, but I do have to say that going forward. So let's get into the picks, man.
Drum roll.
We did a really good, thorough discussion of the cerebral part of the game against the Bears. We talked about what the Bears are doing right now, but fuck all that. What's gonna be the actual score though when they lace it up in about 3 hours?
Yeah,
you guys sleep, man.
Joey,
it's amazing how this show gets you souped up and wanting to watch the game.
There you go.
Knew, right? Who knew?
Tragedy.
Go ahead, man. 5 stars up, Joe.
See what you got, man. Predictions for today.
All right, real quick, I'll jump in and we'll shuffle the order a little bit. I was also thinking a little bit about what DB said, and he mentioned all those teams, that have been kind of perennially bad, and you don't want to be the team that is, as I like to say, the cure for what ails you. All right, and that's kind of what the Giants have, in a way, kind of been. I think back again, man, I'm a damn near an octogenarian. I'm an old dude. I think back to 1995 when the Cowboys were having midseason struggles, right? And they eke out a win over the hapless Giants. My boy Kevin Williams from Roosevelt hogged out in that game, by the way.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they eked that win out. That's like, okay. And then what happens? San Francisco loses to Carolina, right? And the Cowboys are now in a position to get the number 1 seed. And who's waiting for them? The Arizona Cardinals. Cure for what ails you, brother. You don't want to be that team that is the cure for what ails you, right? And so Chicago is a lot like one of those teams now, just given their performance. You would have to say, that they are somewhat hapless at this point. Again, I expect them to be juiced. It's one of those not as bad as you think when things are bad, not as good as you think when they're good kind of a things. I think that they'll play better than they did against Detroit. Hell, they can't help but to. Detroit hung half 100 up on them. Another Switzer reference. They can't help but play better. They'll be at home, okay? And again, not to be cliche, but those guys are pros over there too. And I think that they will play better than they normally do today. I really believe that. And again, I was going to predict a flop here, and what something that I've noticed whenever the national pundits all pick the Cowboys, oh hell, that's when you kind of get nervous, right?
Right.
I was going to say the Bears pulled this one out today, but man, I just look at the injuries that they've sustained defensively, and I'm just not seeing with all of those injuries defensively. And again, it sets up for a prime flop. Cowboys come out today and score 16 points, some shit like that. But I'm not seeing that today. I really think that the Cowboys are going to play like a veteran team, and that the Bears are still trying to find themselves. They're going to be closer than a lot of people expect. Well, hell, Vegas said 1.5, so they expect a close game. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys 28-23 in this one. And I think a lot of it is going to be dictated by Coach Schottenheimer. Again, I can't believe I'm saying he's one of the keys to the game, after the litany of the Phillipses and the Garretts and the McChubb Rocks that we've had coaching this thing. I'm actually saying that I think Schottenheimer and his, even keel, let's go compete type attitude, I think it's just what the doctor ordered for this football team. It's just what the doctor ordered for this game. 28-23, Cowboys, still a few busts defensively. Williams is a mobile guy. But I think that they get that kind of settled down a little bit in terms of the slots. Look for Romeo and Moore to be in the slot today. And that's just an advantage that they're going to take. That's an advantage that they're going to seize that opportunity and take advantage of. Again, this is an NFL game. I hate to keep being cliched, but give me the Cowboys 28-23. I think they come out and they handle business. It might not be super impressive, but hey, man, just bank the W. Like you talked about, like Cliff talked about, games that you're supposed to lose, that you win, games that you're supposed to win, that you lose. You treat them the same way. 24-hour rule, Playboy. Bank the win, forget the win, forget the loss, and head on to the next. Go get this one today because, as DB said, you don't want to be 1-2, with Green Bay coming to town.
Big facts. Boom. D Brown, floor is yours.
All right, my man. I like what you said there, JC, and that, it is, there are a lot of cliches you can attach to this, and they're accurate. This is an NFL game, and you got to go out there and play the game that day. That said, I'm going to lean to my man Cliff Franks and say we should beat their ass. And I do like your point, JC, that I do expect him to be juiced, to be energized. They're at home. It is the Cowboys in town. They need this game because for all of their messaging, 0-2 sucks, and we know all the history there, but there's no real expectation out of Chicago in terms of deep playoff run or probably even making the playoffs. So they want to get a game where they can get it. They may see an opportunity here just based on the defensive lowlights of the Dallas's effort last week. That said, I think with Shotty's seemingly handle on the pulse of this team and getting this team prepared to play, which has been impressive, even in game, the adversity, how, he just seems to be dialed in the moment. I think there's probably some good messages that came from, what they didn't do well last week. But I just think this, in, like we said in every other sport that we watch, it's about matchups. I just don't think this team, Chicago, that is a good matchup for what Dallas is offensively. I think when the end of this conversation for 2025, Dallas is probably going to rank in the top 3 or 4 offenses in the league, production-wise. I think it sets up for them to do kind of what I hope to see is get on top of them early with the big play in the pass game and then pound them with an emerging run game. So I think they still may give up some plays because I don't think you fix all of what, Dallas threw out there in 1 week. I think you improve, but I don't think you fix it all. So I still think they'll probably give up a play or two that they would want back. So on that premise, give me Dallas 34. Give me Dallas 34, Chicago 17. On the road.
Right. God, I hope that happens.
Yeah, 34-17. Okay. Well, listen, man. Here's what I do know. Caleb Williams is going to give you about 200 yards of passing and a touchdown. That's about expectation. The Bears are not going to put a lot of points on you, so I would assume that Eberflus has learned his lesson from being lambasted from network to network, content creator to content creator last week of that horrid performance with his secondary. So I would bet dollars and donuts that he's, I hear you. So let's make some adjustments. So I don't expect Caleb Williams to just tear it up per se today. I expect him to pretty much put 200 plus up on the board with a touchdown or so. I don't expect their run game to gash us like that. I expect so in the last few games they give up 350 plus yards, and one thing I do see is Dallas clicking, and in particular, I see Pickens getting more and more comfortable. And Dak is implementing him, in earlier to get him more acclimated. And I think that as the weeks progress, you're going to see more and more of that. So, man, I'm going to go back to my own ideology. I expect to whoop their ass, man. I expect almost 40 burger last week, and they gave me my 40 burger. So I'm definitely bringing the burger out this week. So we burgered up.
It was the first appearance of the burger. I love it.
We burgered up. 40 burger. I wish I had my little statue, and rest in peace to Richard Walker, man, one of our former colleagues, who's no longer with us. He had the satchel one time and bought the 40 burger out the satchel, man. So sorry I don't have my props, but no, man. I expect us to really tear into these dudes. I expect 42-24. And 24 is being generous for this team. That they don't put up points like that. And when they did compete week one, they went against the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy, which is essentially his first real game, being hurt last year in his rookie campaign. So obviously the Vikings are trying to, figure him out all the way. So I don't put a lot of stock in that win. So with all that being said, yeah, man, I expect to beat their ass. Don't show me what you can do in these flashes and then let bad teams like this hang around. I think quietly the Giants are a bad, good team, if that makes sense, because they have a lot of veteran leadership, especially at the most important position at quarterback. So, they can be sneaky good against certain situations. So, again, I'm glad we banked that win last week, and I'm not so mad that it was a shootout because maybe that was a chance to, for Eberflus to kind of, get his team together, being a first year for the Cowboys coordinator after previously being a coach for the Bears, which leads me to my next point. You want to come back here and prove against your old team that y'all should have got rid of me. You know how that goes. It's called moxie. Absolutely. Good old moxie, man. It's something a little different. You better believe he talking to his guys a little different than he did last week and the week before. He like, yo, y'all do this one for me. And guys can feel that. That's transferable, right? So listen, man, I'm looking for an emotional game for that standpoint. We're on the road. I don't give a damn. It's the Bears. Who gives a shit if you're on the road? Go over there, step on them early. They're not going to put points up early. They've shown that consistently. And let's just do what we do, man. So 42-24, you're good guys.
I like it. Strong. The burger has been pronounced.
40 burger.
The burger.
I got to give me a graphic with E40 with a burger, man. A 40 burger.
40
Cowboy. Shout out to the Bay Area, man. All right, so guys, great show, man. Guys, if you guys are out there still tuned in, shout out to Carl, man, being super active in the chat today. Again, hit the like button.
Big shout out, Carl. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. We're going to give you this great product every week. And I hope you guys take something from it. I hope you get to that water cooler and you destroy somebody in the conversation off of something you done heard. Because listen, I talked to D. Brown about this. One of the things I said about the comparison of a Ferrari and a truck with Micah Parsons and God damn it, why is his name escaping me? Who we trade Parsons for?
Clark.
Clark.
Yeah, Clark. So I made the comparison about Micah Parsons being a Ferrari and Kenny Clark being that dump truck you need to actually get work done. And I heard on Gil's Arena, he made the same reference. I was like, hey,
did he really?
I heard that.
Oh, wow.
I heard that too, man. So hey, Gilbert, hey, Agent Zero. Thanks for tuning in, Agent Zero. We love you. How about you? How about you? My man.
I've been YouTubing for 5 years, and I can tell you, regular dudes get listened to by the big boys. That's all I'm gonna say. And you make your own. So, all right. So, any parting words, gentlemen, before we put a bow on this one?
Man, get a win. Bottom line, get a win. We talk about it every year. Bank these wins. Get one that you're supposed to get, and get out of there healthy. Get out of there with a dub, and is to start to bank these wins, man. Go Cowboys.
Yes, sir. JC.
Man, get this one. Get it. You got to get it. And boys, I swore off brown liquor and have managed to avoid incarceration in that time period. Unrelated story. And I have switched to the Bloody Mary. Sunday, Bloody Sunday, boys. All right.
There we go, man.
Get your libation, get your food. Watch the Cowboys put it down today, man. And let's get this thing going, man. Let's get this thing headed in the right direction with a W today.
Let's do it. All right, gentlemen. Till next week. Peace out.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Good shit. Really good shit.